Hello everyone and welcome to Moonride, where we're channeling the man in the moon. Today I'm going to ask you to do something quite incredible. I'm going to ask you to not think about the Mueller report for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Right? I know that's an amazing request, but just tell your conscious mind, your ego, we'll be back in 10 minutes. We can spend the rest of the day focusing on the news if we wish, but for a few minutes we're just going to step that aside, right? Don't worry, we'll get your conscious mind back before you get behind the wheel of a car, right? Just tell yourself that for a moment. If you've watched my video, not the previous one, but the one before this, I sort of introduced the idea of taking the power of positive thinking, which I like to call positive feeling, and apply it to this political future that we are anticipating, right? Now, as I do this, I want to give absolute credit to people like Abraham Hicks. I want to give credit to all those people who created the positive thinking before and after her. If you do not like Abraham Hicks for some reason, if there's someone else that works for you, great. Go there. There's YouTube videos for free. You can read books on this subject. I'm not really doing anything new. I'm just taking something that worked for me and applying it in a very specific way. I also have to give thanks to a fellow named Michael Strauss, who helped me solidify this idea. Thank you for that help. It is really useful to know. So if you've watched that video before the penultimate one, not the last, but the one before that, I asked everybody to take out a pen and write, and it really helps if you write it by hand and not type it. Write the government that you want. If you haven't done that yet, please take a moment and just write it out. You might change it a little bit. You might put in different adjectives. It's okay to rewrite it. You might be surprised at the things that are really priorities for you, and that's always interesting to see. If you have not done that, go ahead and write it and rewrite it now. Now, if you have written it, which you should have by now, then I'm going to ask you to go there, right? Now, a lot of people, when they want to use the power of positive thinking, they do it with their mind. They'll say, oh yeah, I want Robert Mueller to do this, and I want the Democrats to do this, and I want these libertarians to do that, and this is what's going to happen. And you structure all of it in your mind. And if it doesn't work out that way, you are disappointed. This is the opposite of how it works, right? You cannot structure out these little details of how it will work, because it will work in a way that you could never dream of. And I could give you 100 examples of this, but just trust me on this one, all right? Because we don't want to make too long of a video. Now, if I go there in my time machine and I imagine the government that I want, and what I wrote was, I'd like a government which is just, treats people equally, and allows people to enjoy their fruits of their own labors. If I go there in my mind, just do that for yourself at this moment. And whatever you've written, it's okay if it's different from mine. Just go there and just try to experience it. If you feel yourself getting too much in your head, just draw it down into your heart. Draw it down and just ask yourself, I'm living this experience. My government is the one that I want to. People are treated equally. However you plot it, that's okay. What adjectives come up for how you are feeling right now, right? For me, the adjectives were peaceful, optimistic, and I feel kind of active and positive. I feel actually kind of capitalistic in the fact that everybody's working together and we're creating these new things and everybody's being treated equally. But again, these are the adjectives: peaceful, optimistic, and sort of positively active, right? You might have different adjectives. Probably you will. That's okay, right? So don't necessarily choose my adjectives. You should absolutely choose your own. Go to where it makes you feel. This is very important. It must be in your heart. Now, I'm just going to go there, right, for my own adjectives. So the first one is peaceful. All right, and I'm just imagining a more peaceful society that is my nation, right? People aren't fighting so much with each other. I just feel like everybody's some more in the same boat. I'm not fighting with people on Facebook about the truth. I just feel peace. And let yourself go there. Now, as I'm feeling this peace, I want to actually push it a little bit bigger. So don't just feel peace. feel peace, right? Push it out a little bit more. Peace, right? However that looks for you. Again, you're going to use your own adjectives. My second adjective was optimistic. So now I'm going to go there. I'm thinking of all my ideas coming to fruition. I'm thinking about the people that are working with me together. I feel like they're going to work with me, not against me. I'm imagining some products that I created in my mind getting put out there into society, and people are buying them, and it's good for the world, etc. I'm really feeling just optimistic. I feel like right now that the youth will overcome a lot of these problems because they're the future. All right, that's a really good one, actually. I'm surprised, but that image of youth really makes me feel optimistic. I'm going to push it out a little bit, make it stronger. Yeah, now I feel like those youth are empowered, right? Now I feel like they're going to really, really, really do something and do it faster than others could. Now let's go to the third adjectives that I had, which were sort of actively working, just being very active in terms of working. Active but equal, you might say. Wow, okay, I can really feel that, right? When you take the adjectives, whatever you have, whichever ones you've chosen, and they really should be ones you've chosen, not ones somebody else has chosen for you, just put them in your heart. This might take a couple of minutes. As you put them in your heart, feel them, then feel them a little stronger, and see how far you can push it. Can you feel so active that you're like, wow, I can barely stay in this chair. I can't wait to write 20 emails. Can you do it? It's just an experiment. If you find this hokey, that's okay. Just try it. Just see if it works. And if it doesn't work, you can say, this guy's crazy, right? It's just a sort of departure. And just let yourself go there for a moment, right? Again, I'm going to go back to all these feelings. Really push them out. Yeah. And I do often get images when I'm doing this. I see things that I like. I see people of all colors, stripes, whatever, working together. And each person bringing something to the table, like, you're really good at growing apples, you're really good at raising dogs, but we're going to trade here. The dogs can protect the apples from the birds that would eat them, whatever it is, right? I'm really imagining these things. I'm not scripting how that's going to happen. I'm just imagining things that will help my feeling elevate, right? And I feel it really strongly now, right? I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better than I did a couple of minutes ago. You realize that if that were the only goal, it would be sufficient. Even if it's just a temporary thing where your mind gets a little vacation, that would be a pretty good thing. Now, what would be a really good thing is if it happens, is if I wake up in a week and my government has changed and it has become just and fair, right? That would be awesome. It would be even more awesome if I had an idea that it was because of me, that because of my efforts, I was able to change the consciousness around me. Now, something like a good political government, that might not be measurable. Who cares? You can use the process that I've described for you for anything. You could use it to make money. You can use it to have a relationship. You name it. It works in any ways. The things that stop it are, one, if you are greedy. So the first thing that you need to do is sit there and decide, in the case of our government, well, there are really good things about the government. I have the freedom to speak to you directly in an amazing way that no one could ever dream of in the past. I have terrific health, if only because of the health that's available to me, good food. I have other things about my government where I can vote, So don't forget when you're doing these to thank the universe for what you do have. And that might seem like just a little bit, But it's a little bit more than my grandfather had, or my great-grandfather had, or anybody had 300 years ago. It's definitely great. It's definitely great compared to some other countries. Don't forget to thank the universe for what you've got. You need to be grateful. The only other thing that you really need to be aware of when you're doing this is not to use it for a bad end. The universe will know, right? You can't control other people. So if you want to fall in love, that's great. But if you want to fall in love with person X, it may not work. As a matter of fact, it probably won't work because you can't control other people, right? The other thing is don't use this for anything bad. When I started doing this work, I really had to ask the universe, is it really okay to do this? I mean, I might be making some money out of it. Is it okay? And the universe said, look, as long as you don't invest in some oil companies or do something terrible with this money, as long as you don't harm people, right? It's okay to ask for stuff for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you are not harming another. So don't forget to follow these 3 rules, right? So, in that note, I think we can stop. Be sure to let yourself do this once a day. You don't need to do it for 10 minutes. You don't need to do it for 5 minutes. 2 minutes is enough, right? Just do it 2 minutes and just let it go. You have to let it go and let the universe answer you. Don't keep pulling the letter back and changing it and fixing it and stressing over it. It will not work. 2 minutes in the morning, let it go. And if during the day you start finding yourself going, I hate my government, this is terrible, just kind of bring in that feeling that, well, we could have a better government if we change things. Just bring in the feeling that you have and just dismiss those thoughts. Is it really doing you any good during the day to be all stressed out and worried about this government? Is it changing that government? Does it have any effect? No, it will not make a single bit of difference if you worry about something. It might make a difference if you don't do something. I don't want to encourage you to sit at home and not be active in this government. Clearly that is a message. But this is a way we can be active, even if it is perceived as a passive way, right? So send that message out to the universe and let it answer you. Don't worry if you have some negative emotions during the day. That's normal. It's okay. You don't have to reach back and grab it and make it perfect. Just kind of just dismiss it, right? And do this for 2 minutes in the morning while you're having your cup of coffee. Don't make it a big deal. Meditation doesn't have to be an hour and a half every morning, right? It just needs to be a little bit. And it does need to be consistent. Try this for at least 30 days, right? Try it for more if you can. And understand that it will not happen overnight. It will happen in an amazing way that you do not expect. And it will happen. It will happen. Trust me.